All right, so let me tell you what's keeping you poor. The number one thing that's keeping you poor, and there's a lot of things that are keeping you poor, and I'm going to give you a bunch of them, but what's the number one thing that's keeping you poor? Any ideas? What do you think? What do you think? Can't hear you. What do you think? The number one thing that's keeping you poor. Trey, do you have any idea what the number one thing is? John, do you have any idea? No, you're shaking it. No idea. The number one thing, and there are many things that are keeping you poor, but the number one thing, you would never, I guarantee you, no one's come up with this. The number one thing that's keeping you poor is your mouth. What you say. You see, what you say is what you get. Your tongue is a creative force. Words have power, more power than you could ever imagine. There was a book written by Shad Helmstetter called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And there was another book called What You Say Is What You Get. From a Christian perspective, it was based on the biblical principles and what it says in the Bible about that subject. And another one called The Tongue, a Creative Force. Very good books. Those are very Christian-oriented books, and Chad's book is pretty good as well. And I'm just going to clarify this. It's very important. Every word that comes out of your mouth has 100 to 1,000 times more power than a thought. Because when you speak, the word vibrates into the universe. See, when you think, you're sending out a vibration only through your mind. But when you speak, you have to have the thought as well. So when you speak, not only are you having a thought come from your mind, but the vibration is coming out of your mouth into the physical universe. It's vibrating molecules. It has creative force. What you say is what you get. You have to speak things into existence. There was a word that magicians used to use, and I did some magic when I was a kid, and that word was called abracadabra. And the way it worked was, I'd come on stage, I'd have my top hat, I'd pull my top hat out, and I would say, abracadabra, I now pull a rabbit out of my hat. And I pull the rabbit out of the hat. Or there'd be a lady lying on the table, and I go, abracadabra, I now make the woman float. I would say the word abracadabra first. And I started researching. I said, where'd that come from? It's actually a Persian word, or that's the origins. And it means, the translation means, I now create with my words. So let me say that again, the magic things, changing abracadabra to I now create with my words. So watch. I come on stage, I have my top hat, I pull my top hat out, and I say, I now create with my words. I pull a rabbit out of my hat. You follow me? In other words, I'm putting out the intention that I'm creating with my words, and then I speak what I want to happen, and it happens. I speak it into existence. Or the lady's lying on the table, and I go, I now create with my words. Rise, rise, rise. And the woman rises. Now, it was a magic trick. I wasn't creating with my words, doing the magic tricks, and no magician does. But the point is, that's where it comes from. And it comes from real energy magicians that were actually creating with their words. So they would say, I now create with my words, telling the universe what I'm going to speak now is going to manifest, heal, or whatever. And they would manifest with their words, creating with their words. And now this is a spiritual principle, and I can give you dozens of texts. I'll just give you one famous one, because you might be familiar with it if you come from a Christian perspective. And that is, in the Bible, in several of the Gospels, there's this story. And the story is Jesus and his apostles are walking down, they're going to some town, and it says that Jesus is hungry. He's hungry. And he sees a fig tree kind of in the distance. So he says, hey, there's a fig tree. Let's go over to that fig tree. So they walk over to the fig tree, but it says there were no figs on the tree. There were no figs. So they walked there and there was nothing to eat. And it says Jesus cursed the fig tree, and the apostles heard him. which means he spoke it out loud. They went on to their next town to do their show. And then on the way back, it says, they saw the fig tree. 2 days later, the fig tree had withered and was dead. And they were amazed. They said, Master, the fig tree that you cursed, that you spoke out loud and cursed, has died. And then Jesus gives them a teaching. And he says, if you say to this mountain, be cast out and thrown into the sea, if you believe that what you say will happen, you will get whatever you say. It says it right there, Mark 11:24. I mean, it's right there. And it's also in some other ones. Speak out loud, believing in your heart that what you say is going to happen, and it will. There's one other caveat, and that one other caveat is you have to have no grudges against anyone else. And it says, and if you have any annoyance with somebody, forgive them first. You have to have that forgiveness to allow the power of your voice to actually have pure manifesting ability. The point is, you speak things without thinking. So think about what you say. I'm so dumb. Boom. You just spoke that into existence. Things don't work out for me. You just spoke that into existence. I miss all the opportunities. You just spoke that into existence. Think about what you say. You don't even listen to your words. If you listen to your words, you're the most negative person on the planet, and you don't even realize it. You criticize, you condemn, you judge, you beat yourself up constantly. Let me tell you what rich people do. Rich people give themselves pep talks when no one's around. When they're by themselves, they say things like, I'm a winner. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I am going to win. I'm going to make this happen. They don't say that in front of others. They say it to themselves. They give themselves a verbal out loud pep talk. They speak into existence what they want. You don't. You basically berate yourself with your words, the words that you speak, the ones that people can hear or you could hear. The other reason why spoken words are so powerful and significant is this. Have you ever heard your voice on a recording? Maybe you recorded something on your phone and then played it back and you hear your voice. And isn't it true that when you hear your voice on a recording, it doesn't sound like you at all? You're thinking, that does not sound like me. That's not my voice. I speak all the time. I know what it sounds like, and it doesn't sound like that. Well, guess what? That's exactly what everybody else hears. That is your voice. The question is, why does it sound different when you hear it on a recording versus when you speak yourself? The answer is, when you hear it on a recording, the sound comes up and vibrates through the air, through the atmosphere, and it hits your eardrum. 100% of the sound is vibrating and hitting your eardrum, and that's what you hear. When you speak, your vocal cords vibrate. Sound comes out through the mouth, and you hear it in your ear. But 2/3 of the sound travels through bone directly into your brain. So you're actually hearing the vibrations through bone. Your whole head, throat is vibrating. Your whole brain is vibrating, not just your eardrum. You paying attention? Do you realize that when you speak, your whole brain vibrates? When you just listen, only your eardrum vibrates. And when you just think a thought, nothing vibrates. Which do you think is more powerful? The most powerful is the spoken word. When you say something, we're going to win. This is why you look at professional athletes, they're always giving themselves a pep talk. They're speaking out loud. They do it maybe instinctively, not even knowing what's really the science behind it. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the neural pathways that get established in the brain when you speak things, it is dramatically different than if you just think it. Watch your words, negative or positive. So the one thing that rich people do, and there's a lot more, I'm not going to cover them all today, and I'll give you one more, just as a little. Rich people spend money on things that go up in value, called appreciating assets. Poor people spend money on things that go down in value, depreciating assets. A rich person will buy a piece of art if they have some extra money, knowing that the art will probably go up in value. A poor person will buy a sofa or a TV, something that goes down in value. Make sense? A rich person will buy a Rolex watch, knowing that that will probably hold its value or appreciate, or some diamond or gold jewelry, knowing that price of gold and the jewelry could go up in value. A poor person will spend money on something that goes down in value, something that's going to depreciate. They'll buy a car, they'll buy a boat, they'll buy something. They blow their money frivolously. But let's go back to the number one thing, which is the words. What you say is what you get. The tongue is a creative force. What do you say when you talk to yourself? Do you call yourself names, or do you give yourself a pep talk? Wealthy people give people pep talks. If you do these things, you can be on your way to putting $1 million cash in the bank. And I have to tell you, making money today is easier than ever before in history. It's not harder, it's easier. With the internet, with AI, with Amazon, and all the different ways you can market and sell products and services online, it is easier to make money than ever before. You can make more money faster today than ever before in history. And you don't need a lot of money to get started. This is unprecedented. Why aren't more people making money? Because wealthy people always do something that broke people do, and that is wealthy people show initiative. Broke people don't. And today, the research has proven that the number of people that have and show initiative is lower than any time in history that we know of. It's lower. And there's a lot of reasons why. Fluoride in the water is one of them. Soy is another, because it lowers testosterone levels. People today just don't have the initiative that they had 30, 40, 50 years ago. Think about it. Do these things and you are on your way to making your fortune. You can do it. You have greatness within you. Remember, you were born to win. You were engineered for success. You were designed for accomplishment, and you were endowed with the seeds of greatness. Thanks for watching. If you're ready to access the secrets and insider strategies that I learned that can change everything for you, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Central, we upload a brand new and hopefully thought-provoking show. The mission? The goal? What's in it for you? Well, I want to give you the knowledge and know-how to break free and unlock limitless potential in every area of your life. If you have questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comments section. I read every single comment. Also, make sure you share these videos with friends or family members to help them create the life that they want. And be smart. Follow me on all social media platforms for new and different content that I put up every single day.